Welcome to this HTML and CSS tutorial. This is going to be a complete HTML and CSS tutorial from scratch until the end. We're going to build a really nice website. I want you to give you a disclaimer as we start. This is going to be a long one, so feel free to just take breaks at some points to make sure that you're digesting the information enough as you proceed. So also, if you haven't done the preliminary setting up of your coding environment, check the previous video and the previous two videos on this series. They're going to help you get started into what you're going to be doing. So this tutorial is going to walk you through from basically zero knowledge to creating your fully functional website using HTML and CSS. So by the end, you should be able to build a personal portfolio website that you can customize and expand on. And we're going to be covering through a number of things. Now, I haven't created slides for this just so that we basically spend most of the time writing code. But I'll give you a quick introduction, and then we get started with the HTML. We dive into that a little bit, and then we look at CSS, and then look at a number of things on how we can make our websites responsive. So by the end, you're going to learn how the web works, what HTML and CSS is and their role, setting up basically everything, and building your web development projects. Now, there are a few things that I would like us to quickly start on. So, in the previous video that we did, this is the basic code that we had, and we're going to be using this. The other thing that you can also look at the extensions that we installed, but just as a note, one of the extensions that we installed was this extension that is called Live Server. So once you've opened your code editor, you click on Go Live. It is going to open Live Server on your default browser. In this case, my default is Chrome. You can see the statement that we wrote is right there. Now, there's a number of things that I want us to understand as we are getting into this. First, how does the web work? So simply, the web operates through a client and server model, right? So what do you mean by this? A client in a browser, or rather a client in the web, is your browser. So in this case, Chrome, where I have opened my this website here, which is my default browser, this is the client. It could be any web browser. Then the server is going to be the computer that stores the website. So in this case, I'm storing everything with my code is in my local machine. So my local machine at this point is it's my server. So we usually refer to it as local host. And you can see here this port here, rather this address 127.0.0.1, then 55 port 5500. This basically refers to localhost. Now, if I come here, I'll just increase the font a little bit, but though it won't change that. I can go ahead and change this. Instead of having 127.0.0.1, I can edit that out and just type in localhost and I hit enter. As you can see, it's still going to open the website the same way. So localhost in this case is the server, but in a context of a website that has been already hosted that you can access through a domain, then the server is any server or service that the creator of that website used. Could be Amazon Web Services, could be Google. There's quite a number of those. Now, how do these two communicate? These two, that is the client and the server, they communicate through what we refer to as a request response cycle. So in this case, what it means is when you type in a URL, in this case, as you saw here, I've typed in localhost. When you type in your URL into your browser, it is going to request a website, right? And the server is going to respond back. What the server responds with is HTML and CSS and JavaScript files, right? So these are the three pillars of web development. This is why the moment we type in localhost and we specified what we need, we got this, what you can see here. This is a cool website. Now you can inspect this to just see what we mean. To inspect, you just right click and there's this part that says here inspect. So if I click on inspect, you will see that it opens up here and you can see the elements that it shows us. This is the HTML code here, and you can go ahead and just inspect to see what else is involved. In this case, we haven't written any CSS to help with a lot of things, but this is what you're going to see. You can be able to see all the code for this website. And now, talking of these three pillars, HTML, which is the one that we started writing here, HTML is the one that gives us the structure and content of our websites. So it is like the skeleton of our website. And CSS is the one that we use for styling. So think of it like for a human being, the clothing that the person wears, for appearance, the appearance in general. That is what CSS does. We're going to look at CSS later on. CSS stands for cascading style sheets, and HTML stands for hypertext markup language. We also have JavaScript, which is the third pillar. JavaScript is a programming language, and it is the one that enables the behavior and interactivity of our websites. So think of it like in a human being. A human being has, even an animal, they have muscles and movement, right? So JavaScript is the one that ensures that. So it's the one that helps with the muscles, movement, and everything like that. And please look at the previous video to see how you can set up your coding environment to completion. Now, let us get started. We've seen how we can be able to open our live server, and it's already there. So in this case, the structure of a HTML document, which is what you can see here. I'm going to just delete this for a moment. The extension that we installed an extension called Emmet, which helps autocomplete the HTML tags for you. This is important because I don't want to be wasting my time. You also don't want to be wasting your time typing in things like this small angle brackets and everything all the time. You just want to save on time. So to get your basic skeleton, you can just do you have an exclamation mark, then select Emmet abbreviation. It's going to autocomplete everything for you like this. Right? Now, what do you have here? Let's start with the first line. Doc type, this is the one that declares that this is an HTML5 document. Remember, this code is read by your browser. So once it says doc type HTML, this is the one that it's you declaring that this is an HTML document. Then we also have HTML from line 2. This is an HTML tag. And what you'll notice with this tag is that it has an opening tag and a closing tag, right? So this is how HTML operates in general. Some of the tags that it has, not all of them, some of the tags have opening and closing tags. So in this case, HTML tag is the one that is the second line, and it's always the last line in your HTML document. Always make sure that you see that. How you know that a tag is a closing tag? It has a forward slash before it. Now, what does the HTML tag do? The HTML tag is the root element that contains all other HTML elements. So as you can see here, all these HTML elements, they're enclosed within the opening and closing HTML tags. Any other HTML code that we write, it's still going to be enclosed within the opening and the closing HTML tag. Then after that, we move to the other tags. So we have these meta tags that you can see here. The meta tags, these are tags that they provide metadata about the HTML document. The HTML document, again, of course, is the entire document. So they provide the metadata. For example, the first one gives you UTF-8 encoding. The second one is the one that helps with responsivity, whereby it makes sure that your website can fit within the width and the width of the device where it's being viewed on. Then we have this head tag that is here. The head tag contains the one that contains now the meta information. The meta tag provides the metadata, while the head tag contains the meta information. Note that all this metadata is within the head tag. The head tag also has an opening and a closing tag. So we have these tags already written out here. Then there's the title tag that you can see here, which is on line 6. The title tag is the one that sets the title that appears in the Chrome browser tab or any browser tab in general. So in this case, you see this one says document, right? So I'm going to just hit save. And if you come to our browser here, I want you to look at the top here. If you can see where my mouse pointer is, you can see the name document. I can go back here, and instead of my document, I can edit this and write as my website. It should be an E here, my website. Once I save and I come here, you will see that it has changed to my website, right? So this is important to understand. Here, this is the function of the title tag. It sets the title that appears in the browser tab. Then we have the body tag now. As you can see, the body tag comes after the head tag. The body tag is the one that contains all the content that displays on the page. So whenever you see our website, all the content that you see in it, that is being displayed on our website, all that content is usually inside the body tag. Now, there's one mistake that I see a lot of people make whenever they're starting out with HTML, and I would like you to the mistake usually that they write the HTML code all over without following the structure. You have to follow the structure. So how you know that you're following the structure is that in a HTML document, the closing body tag and the closing HTML tag, these are always going to be the last tags in your HTML document. Then you'll see that the doc type is always the first, followed by the head, the HTML tag, the opening HTML tag. Then you have the head tags here. Then now the body tag. Instead of the body tag is where we write all the things that we write. Now let's start writing some information inside the body tag. There's a lot of HTML tags that exist out there. We're not, of course, going to go all over or go over all of them, but you're going to encounter some of them. We're going to go through the main ones that are being used the common being used. Now, whenever you're talking about these tags, one of the tags that comes to mind, the first one that you should start with, is what we refer to as the heading tags. So heading tags are the one, whenever you go on our website, you're going to see, of course, the titles of our website or any blog that you are reading. You see that they're like bigger font, they're bolder than the rest of the text. That is the function of the heading tags. And the HTML provides 6 levels of headings. So you write with H1. Now, because we have Emmet installed, you can just type in H1, then hit enter or just select this option that comes up here. Like that, then it auto completes both the opening and the closing tag for you. I'd like you to follow this because, again, I do not want us to waste our time writing the opening and closing tags every time. So H1 is the most important tag. So the biggest heading tag, the biggest and bolder tags and titles that you see on our website are usually written by the H1 tag. So for example, if this I write I'll just call it something like main heading, like that. And if I come here, you'll see that it is main heading, right? So you can see that I'm going to just increase the font size of this because I'm using a bigger screen so that you can be able to see everything that you are writing. So this is the main heading here. Then you can have all the other tags that follow. So we usually have we have a H2 tag. Then I'm just going to say I'll just write here level 2. So the first one is the level 1 heading. This is a level 2. Then you can have a H3 for level level 3. And if you come here, you'll notice that these headings, they're all bolder headings, but they keep on reducing in size as you go all the way down. Remember, it goes all the way to H6. So you can have a H4 here. And then I'm going to just have some random information. You can have a H5. Then you can have H6, which is the last one. Then you can say this is the I'll just type in level 6. If you come to our browser, you'll notice that everything is here. So you can see this, the level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6. And these are the heading tags. The heading tags are very important. It is a best practice to use these heading tags because they help in SEO and accessibility of our website. SEO stands for search engine optimization. So this is basically the one that determines how your website is going to be ranked on the search results that come up on Google. But again, topic for another day. But it's important to use these heading tags in your website. So it's usually advised for you to use only one heading tag per page whenever you're writing your code. So for example, just using a H1 tag and the rest. But anyway, that is what we refer to this. So I'm going to just leave it as this for now with a H1. Then apart from paragraphs, rather apart from the headings, the other tag that is important is a paragraph tag. So you create a paragraph tag using P tags, or these are how you create paragraphs. So type in P, hit enter. This is for paragraphs. So for example, I can say this is a paragraph about my website. I hit save, and then when I look at the browser, you'll see this is a paragraph about my website. Again, as you can see, looks as the normal text that you'll usually find on our website. Then you can always have, of course, multiple of these. I can have another paragraph. I can say like this is another paragraph, and then I'll say something like not how it creates a new line and spacing, just the same way you'd usually write a paragraph in your whenever you're writing something. So you can see here, this is another paragraph, and you can see it already formats everything really well. Now, there are usually cases whereby whenever you're creating your websites, or whenever you're writing these paragraphs, you notice that the text is probably too long. You just want to break it down. It will be still on the same paragraph, but you move it to a new line. Whenever you do, if you want to do this sort of line breaks and set some horizontal rules for your website, we have a number of tags for that. So the first tag that we have is a break tag. A break tag is the one that basically creates a line break without starting a new paragraph. So for example, in this paragraph here, let's say this paragraph was a bit longer and I just want to break it from this point. I'll just add a break tag. So a break tag does not have an opening and a closing tag, just a single tag like this. The moment I hit save, we come back here, you'll notice how it drops this to a new line, but it does not add a bigger space here. So you'll notice that it is still within the same paragraph. So it breaks the line without starting a new paragraph. Apart from this, we also have setting up horizontal rules. So horizontal rules, this is where you want to basically create a dividing line between different aspects of your website. You'll notice this whenever you look at your website, you'll see that there's sort of thin lines that are separating different sections of the website. And I'm going to just add that after this paragraph. So we have an HR tag, and this is the one that sets up an horizontal rule. Again, it also doesn't have a closing tag. So if I hit save, you come here, you'll notice that there's this new line that has been added here that separates the first section from the second section. So those are the horizontal rules, and that is how you usually set them up. The other tag that comes here is on not really the number of these tags, of course, but whenever you have your text, you'd want to maybe format your text in multiple ways. And I'm going to just show you a few of these ways that you can format your text, because there's so many of these tags. Some of them are going to learn them on the go. So starting with this one here, let's say we want to, let's say, make this the name paragraph to appear as important and bolder in our website. So in this case, we have a tag known as a strong tag. So I'm just going to type in strong, and then we'll take this name paragraph. I'll just copy it from here, and we're going to not copy but cut, and we're going to have it between the strong tags. Once I hit save, we come here, you'll notice that paragraph is now bolder, right? So in this case, you can use this strong, or you can use a B tag in this case instead of strong. So if instead of strong, I just use B, then you can, as you come here again, still the same thing. Yeah. So now that we have that, you can also try to maybe make something italic. So to make something, let's say you want to make this, let's say the word like line and spacing, you want them to be in italic. So you can use the number of tags that you can use. There's an EM tag. So you can have an EM tag. Okay, I just want to have this EM close. Okay, let's just use the word line alone, like that. So once I hit save, we come here, you'll notice that the word line is italic or slanted. Instead of EM, you can just use an I tag, like that. So you replace EM with the I. Then you come here, you'll notice that it still does the same thing, right? Again, there are many of these tags that you can go ahead and look at, but these are sort of the main ones that you're going to need. Apart from the HTML, not HTML, but rather heading tags and paragraph tags, we also have many other HTML tags that we can use. So we have lists in HTML. So of course, consider when you want to, in your website, you just want to list a number of things, and they appear in form of a list like 1, 2, 3, or ABCD, or with bullet points or something like that. In that case, we have list tags in HTML. So HTML offers you two types of lists, right? So these two types of lists, the first is an ordered list, then we have ordered lists. So if something is unordered, of course, that means you can't give it 1, 2, 3. It will appear in some sort of bullet points, right? So how you create an unordered list, and this is the beauty of HTML, you just use a UL tag. UL, so short for unordered list. So you have a UL tag, you hit enter, but now you have to list items within this unordered list. So to list the item, use an LI tag, LI for list. So within the LI tag, you can type in your item. So for example, you can just have like item 1, then I have another LI tag for, let's say, item 2, and I'll have another one for let's say item should be lowercase, another one for item 3, like that. So once I hit save, we come to our website, you'll notice that we have 3 items that have been listed, all of them with bullet points. So this is an ordered list, right? UL. But when you have a list that is ordered, that means it is numbered, it follows a chronological order, then use an OL tag, OL for ordered list. So you hit enter, then you can start listing elements. So the list tags still remain the same here. So use an LI tag, then I can say, let's say something like first step. So this is important. For example, if you want to, there's a recipe that you're creating, then listing the steps step by step, or rather from the first step all the way to the last for cooking something. It's important to use these ones here. So you can just write here second step, then you can have a last one here and write third step. So you come here, you'll see we have 1, 2, 3. So this is numbered. It's very important. So you can, again, you can have as many of these items on the list as you'd like to have. So at this point, we've looked at heading tags, paragraph tags, a few formatting tags. We've looked at list tags, so both unordered and ordered list tags. Then we also have link tags, right? So whenever you go on any website, you'll notice that certain websites have hyperlinks embedded to them. A good example is Wikipedia. Wikipedia has a lot of hyperlinks that you click on, they redirect you to something else. So how do you add those hyperlinks in this case? So to add the hyperlinks, we use what we refer to as anchor tags or A tags. So I'll just type in A, then I hit enter. Then it's going to, of course, autocomplete for me. So anchor tags come with some properties or attributes. In this case, href is an attribute or property of an anchor tag. This is where you type in the link to the website where you want to redirect someone to. So if I want to redirect someone to google.com, I just type in the link to google.com. So I'll just type it in here like that. So you can even add the www like that. Then in between the anchor tags, remember the anchor has an opening and a closing tag. You can notice the closing tag as well because it has the forward slash. So I can write something like visit this website. So once I save that and you come here, you'll notice that it is available and it's available as a link. And as I hover over it, if you look at the bottom left, you'll see it says it has the link that I typed in. If I click on the link, you'll see how it slowly opens up and redirects me to google.com. So I'll just go back to our website. So this is important whenever you are writing something, and let's say you don't want to redirect someone to this link, then, or rather you're not sure the link that you want to use. It's important to just use a hashtag. So if I type in a hashtag, I come here. If I click on this, it's not going to redirect me anywhere. And it's important to use a hashtag whenever you're not sure the link that you want to add or you haven't gotten the link yet. So this is a anchor tag. Now the good thing about anchor tags as well is you don't have to use them standalone. You can use them if you want to, but you can embed them within the different. You can embed them within the different. Let's say, for example, paragraph tag or within a list anywhere. So let's say I create a paragraph here. I'm going to just create a paragraph, and in this paragraph, we're going to say something like "Welcome to join my." Let's say my programming course on Udemy, right? So whenever I do this, let's say now I want to redirect someone to Udemy, right? So if I want to redirect someone to Udemy, I use an anchor tag. So in this case, I'm going to have an anchor tag here. I'll just have a tag. Then I'm going to type in the link to Udemy. I'll type in the complete link to where I want to send them to, but I'll just set it as udemy.com for now. Then the name Udemy comes, of course, in between the anchor tags like that. So once I hit save, when you come here, you'll notice that it says welcome to join my programming course, and then you see Udemy here. So if you click on this, it should redirect you to Udemy as well. But again, I don't want to click on it for now. I'm going to just add a hashtag. So just add a hashtag there. And yeah, this is basically how you add links to your website. Apart from links, you can also, for example, add images to our website, right? So to add an image to our website, because again, it's important to have an image on our website so that it doesn't look, it's say, like ugly or something. So if you want to add an image to our website, we use an img tag. So I can just type in img, and the img tag comes with a number of attributes. It has the src and alt attribute. The function of these two attributes is in the src attribute, this is where you type in the link to your image, or you just, if you have the image in your local machine, you'll add the path to your image here. Then the alt attribute, this is the, it is essential for accessibility. So whenever you open our website and you notice that the website the image is not there, it's usually the alternative text that is displayed. Right now, if I hit save without adding an image, we come here, you won't see a thing, right? But let's say I add some text here. So I'll say this is an image. This is an image, and I hit save. When you come here, you'll notice that the text gets displayed when there is no image, right? But now the thing you're supposed to do when it comes to these images, you need to pass in the alt attribute needs to be our name, our word, a statement that is descriptive of the kind of image that we are representing here. So for example, if I'm representing a company logo, let's say company logo, then I'm going to use this, right? So I can go ahead and look for a company logo. If you have image in your local machine, you're going to just type in the name of the image. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go, let's look for an image. So there's this website called pexels.com. It has high quality, high definition images that you can use. They are available for free. So let's say I want to use an image, like we have this image of a cat here. So I can download the image to my machine. It's already downloading. Then we can copy the image and paste it there. The other thing that you can do as well is I can just open the link to the image. So I can copy the link. I'll just copy link address. The image is still it's still downloading. So once it's done, you can use it. Okay, it has finished downloading, and we're going to open it in a folder, or rather way it's going to go in my machine. But for now, as that is opening up, I'm going to go to our code, and in src I'm going to start by passing in the link to the image. So the link is quite long, I'm sure, but okay, not too long. But I'll pass in the link and I hit save. If we come to our website, let's come here, then I should be able to pick up the link to the image. Okay, pixels, it's not picking up the link to this image. Okay, again, this usually happens whenever, let's say, it has an issue loading. So I'll just look for a simple let's say company logo, and then we'll wait for this logo. Let's come to images. Again, I just want to show you how you can use a logo, and let's pick any logo from here. Okay, I'll just go with the first logo that you can see, this one, and I'll right click and I'm going to copy the link address. Then we're going to replace this one here with the one that I just copied. Again, not is super long, so I'll just use Alt Z so that it just shortens everything within and has them within the window. Then when you come here, okay, it should be picking up the image. So let's see. So okay, the problem also could be my network. My network could be the reason why it's not picking it up. But whenever you type in the name of the, or rather you pass in the link to your image, it's going to pick up the image and then it's going to show it here. So I'm assuming my network connection should be the problem here. But the other option is, as we've seen, we've downloaded the image to our local machine, and just ignore most of the images that I have here. And then we'll take that image and we're going to pass it in here. So we have, I'm going to just paste the image inside of the Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to rename this image. So I'll just rename and call it logo. Wait, this was a video that we downloaded. Okay, yeah, that is why, probably that is why it wasn't picking anything up. Because, okay, let me just download this one. I'm going to save image as, then I'm going to just look for the file that we used. So I have, okay, is it YouTube? Then we'll go to web development, HTML, my website. Then we save it in there. Okay, now we have our image saved. Then I'll just leave this video for now. We might need it later. Then I'm going to rename this and I'll have it as logo.jpg. I'll rename this video to, I'll just have that vid. So let's have the image. So in this case, we're going to have logo.jpg. You can see it even picks it up automatically. So whenever if we go to our website, where is our website? It's right here. And let's refresh and wait to see. You can see the logo is here. So you can see it here, it's super big. So we actually think it also showed the logo earlier on with the, okay, we have this. So I'm going to just copy this name again, copy the link, I mean, then we're going to pass it in here. Okay, what's going on? Let me just do the copy again. Oh, I should be copying link address. I copied my own things. So we type in save, then when you come here, okay, yeah, it also has not picked it up. Anyway, this is how you pass in case you want to pass in a link. But the most advisable thing for you to do is just download the image and pass it in here. One of the reasons is because the website where you're getting your image from is probably not reliable. So, for example, you've seen having issues just getting the image here. Either website is not reliable or the image might not be there at some point. So it's important to just manage everything from your local machine or from your where you have your code written. So in this case, you've seen how you can be able to add an image. Apart from adding an image, now one of the main things that comes that we need to understand here is how to add comments to your website. So comments are really important in your website because they help you and anyone else who is going to read your code understand what is happening in the code and why you made certain decisions in your code. So it is important. Whenever you look at any code that's written by someone, there's always going to be comments explaining a number of things. But how do we write the comments? So note that the comments do not comments are not, they're not interpreted as code, right? So comment is just text that is there. So for example, in this case, I want to write a simple comment here that says that this is an ordered list. An ordered list. Simple as that. So if I have this is a comment. If you come to our browser, you will see the comment is not anywhere there because the comment is not interpreted as code. Yeah. Then this is what we refer to as a single line comment. We also have multi-line comments. You can still use this to write your multi-line comments. So for example, can just I'll say something like we have two types of lists like that, and then I'm going to just move everything here to a new line like that. So in this case, I'll say we have two types of lists, and then I'll say we have right here we have an ordered list. It should be list here. Then we also have ordered lists. Simple as that. So you can see I'm using still the same to pass in single line comment or multi-line comments. And note the syntax of a comment. You start with a closing, not a closing, but opening angle bracket, exclamation mark, then you have two hyphens. Then the closing part of it is right like this. But the shortcut to writing a comment is you just go to the place where you want to write your comment, and then you'll do control/. If you're using a Mac, should be command/. So in this case, I'm doing control/, and it's adding my comment like that. If I want to remove the comment, I'll still use the control/. So for example, we come to this paragraph, and I don't want this paragraph to be shown on the website. So if I don't want to delete it, I can just comment it out. So I'll just control/, and you can see it turns the entire paragraph to a comment. So I can save, come here, you can see it's not showing here anymore. If I want to now uncomment it, I'll just do control/, then I save as well. You'll see it here. We usually use these comments, like I've mentioned, to explain our code and why we made certain decisions in our code. But we also use it for testing purposes. So for example, let's say I was just trying to design my website and I want to test out to see what happens if I remove this paragraph, what happens if maybe I remove this entire list. If I want to remove the entire set of an ordered list, I just select all of it, and then I'll do control/. And as you can see, it comments out everything. I save, come here, and then I'll try to check how does this affect the website. So for example, right now, when I look at it, I see the website looks way better than when you had them. I can just uncomment, and then you'll see this is what happens. So that means from what I see, if I just comment it out, my website looks a lot better with it. So these are some of the decisions that you make, but these are some of the basics that you need to understand when it comes to writing your HTML code and working with comments and everything else around it. Now, there are a number of things that I want us to do at this point. I believe we have enough knowledge for us to create a simple or basic website or web page. What I'm going to do in this case, I'm going to just delete everything that we've written here. I have been following, but again, I'm sure you've been coding along, so you should be fine. So I want us to now use everything that we've learned up to this point to build a simple web page. So we already have our title. I'll just leave it as it. I can have it something as my first website. Simple as that. Then you come to the body tag. So I want us to build a simple web page. So I can say a statement that says, let's say, welcome to my web page. Again, you can, okay, this should be a heading tag. Okay. So I'll have a h1 tag here. Then I'll say, welcome to my website. You can see we have the statement there. Then you can add a paragraph here. Then note that right now I'm just doing everything off head, but usually whenever you're designing this professionally, you usually have a design on the side that someone has created. Then you will try to translate that design to code. But for now, I'm just using this. So I can say something like, this is my first web page. Then I'll say I'm learning, let's say, HTML and CSS. So just to use some of the, we talked about this tag. So I'll just say HTML. I have it in bold. Then I'll say, and CSS as well. I also have it in bold, like that. Then you can also have you can also add a few other things if you wanted to. For example, if you want to add some emphasis, you can also add some emphasis. So for example, actually, let's add some emphasis here for CSS instead of having all of them as strong. So this would be italicized. Then apart from that, let's say, okay, let's view what this looks like. You can see here, I'm learning HTML in bold, CSS is italicized in that case. Then you can also have a h2 tag. And then say h2 tag, I want to say about me. Then about me, I'll add another paragraph, and I'll say, and should be an N here. I'm an aspiring web developer learning how to build websites from scratch. So you can just leave this like that. As you can see, it is already there. Then the other thing that we can add is, let's say we add a skills section. So you have another h2 tag. then you can say something like my skills. So this, we are sort of, writing a simple CV on our website. Then for skills, so because it's a number of skills, you can have, you can represent them as lists. So I'll have an ordered list. Then I'll have the first list, the skill right here is HTML. Then I'll say maybe I'm still learning HTML. I want to write that in lowercase like that. Then an li tag again for CSS. Then for CSS, I also say that I'm learning this. And let's have another one. Let's say the other skill is problem solving. So again, problem solving is important. Remember, we learn programming so that we can be problem solvers. So we solve problems in so many ways. Building a website is one of the ways that we solve problems that we're encountering. So once I save this is how everything looks like. Then let's say we want to have a last section. Whenever you go to our website, you notice that it has what we refer to as a footer section, and it has some information. Let's say like contact me, something like that. So in this case, there's a lot that goes into that. But for now, we'll just use a simple paragraph and just say something like contact me at. Then we can have an email. So if you want to write an email, you can just have a simple anchor tag. And then again, usually whenever you're writing an email, you can always copy this somewhere, but usually this mail to, then you can write in your email. So I can just say something like your email at, let's say, email.com. Again, that goes there is your actual email. Then I can say my email here is email at email.com. So again, in this case, if you are doing it for yourself, you'll just write your actual details. So once I save this and you come here, you notice that it says contact me at email at this. Now, whenever you say mail to, in this, if you click on this link, it's going to pop up the default application that you use to open your email, and you should be able to open it. But I'm not going to go through that for now. But that is usually the case. The other thing that we can add here, for example, you can have a horizontal break with a HR there. Then you can see it adds a line. You can also do the same if you want to separate a number of things. For example, if I want to separate my skills from everything else, I also do the same with that. And even about me, if I want to separate it, I'll use a HR tag. Then you can see all the separation, right? Again, what I've done here is a bit too much, but you'll just do what visually you see makes sense to you. So whenever you've done this, note that our server is running from the beginning. Whenever you're using live server, your server is always running. So whenever you type in something, then you can just view it directly without having to run your server every time, provided you opened your server the first time you started using VS Code. So now everything is here. You can be able to view it beautifully like that. So I'll give you a challenge here is you can just pause and then try to add an image. Remember how we added an image? Try to add the image there and personalize it. Make it your own. Like own it, right? Your details. From the simple tags that we've seen right now, you can actually build a really nice looking website. Even if we haven't started adding even if we haven't started adding the images and the css and everything else. So what I'm actually going to do in this case, I'm going to give you a task, and I'm going to write it here. So should I really write it here? Okay, I'm going to just create a simple file, and I'll call it test.txt. Then in here, this is what I want you to do. I'm going to just give you, your task is going to be add an image to the website, to the simple website that we just created. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to find or create a simple logo. Create a simple logo. So this could be a profile picture, anything that you feels like as a logo to you. Then in your I want you to create a folder within where the folder you're working with. In this case, our folder, remember we called it my web page from the previous video. So create a folder named, I want you to call it images. A folder named images in your project directory. Once you've created that, I want you to place your images in there. So place your images in the images folder. Once you have your images in there, okay, should be 3 here, not 2. Okay, what have I done? Okay, should be 3. Then the last thing I want you to do is add the image to your HTML. Note that when I added my image here, I didn't have it in a folder. So this is going to be the difference for you. So add the image to a folder. Then now this is where you just go further and do your research on how that is done. How you add an image to your folder, you have to change the path. So you have to give a complete path from the folder to where the image is. Earlier on, because the image was in the same folder with the HTML file, I could just type in the name of the image and that would be it. But if it is in a folder, you'll have the name of the folder / the name of the image, and that should be able to have this done. So once you've done that, then I want you to see what your website looks like. Then after that, we're going to dive deeper with HTML. Now, because like I mentioned, this video is going to be a long one. Now we're going to just end here for now. In the next video, we're going to just dive deeper into HTML and see what you can be able to build up on what you've done so far. So see you next.